Welcome back to the third and final segment of the Loveland Report and Loan Arranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's voice of real estate, talking to Bruce Woodburn, the loan arranger. We're talking about how prices are steady. Holidays are a great time to sell. Rates have come down. Might be a good time for you to refi. Go to webringyouhome.com. And I want to dive into something this time. You mentioned something right before the break, Bruce, about how you're always available. And I just want to let realtors out there know. I get every week from you, I get an update on what's going on with my files. My transaction coordinator does. Every Friday, I get a text saying, this is my weekend on-call team.
Yep.
I can call in here at any time and get somebody during
Anytime.
office hours and get one of your team members that can update me on a file. And you're available, and you're always available. Just like my team. If I'm out of town, I was out of town last Thursday, Friday, and my team is handling everything for me. And they can reach me in case of emergency. You know, if it's not something you dial 911 for and there's a file, something going on. I rarely have that drama in my office, but they can get me. But I've got team members. I've got licensed realtors covering me. Half my assistants are licensed too.
Absolutely.
So it's just, that's what you want. And I get calls weekly, Bruce. I get a call from a realtor, from a buyer wanting to see one of my listings. And I asked him, do you have a realtor representing you? Oh, yes, but they're on a European cruise.
Okay.
Oh, yes, but they're at their other job. I'm like, well, if they want to make their commission, they need to show you the property, right, or I'll meet you there and I can represent you. Right. And what's funny is they don't know what to say. And I'm like, does this happen to you all the time? They go, well, yeah, kind of quite a bit. And I'm saying, well, do you want full-time representation? I can help you with that. Let's do a buyer consultation. So beware of who you're using, who you're choosing on your loan realtors. I can't say enough about Bruce's company as a loan rep and getting things done. You know, if he tells you a buyer can buy, it's the truth, and you want to use them. And if you got somebody that's not available to you when you want to see homes, you got the wrong realtor.
Well, and it's the same with me, because you may be out negotiating for a buyer and you may need to consult with me on a weekend to say, hey, look I know you pre-approved them for 535, but this property's at 545. Can we make the deal work?
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't get an answer on Saturday, they may have sold that house to somebody else on Sunday.
And it's not as urgent right now, but as we speed up and the economy gets better over the next year or two, it's going to be.
Well, I think it's urgent when it comes to buying. You always need good representation. So I'm not quite sure. When there's a situation that doesn't need a prompt return call, because I believe that being prompt at returning phone calls is super important.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you wanted to know on a weekend, hey, was the appraisal ordered on that transaction last week? Well, unless we're running up against the closing date, those aren't important things to answer on a weekend. But when it comes to negotiation, updating pre-approvals, asking specific questions about a transaction, that may be important. And I don't want to be the person that doesn't return the listing agent's phone call when my buyer's trying to buy a property. If I'm not available till Monday, and here's where you listeners need to understand this. You go to your bank, you go to your credit union, try to reach your loan officer after 4 on Friday. You'll be lucky if you get a call by Tuesday.
I had a commercial credit union come into my office and talk to me about how great their commercial loans were. I tried 3 different times to send them somebody, and every time my clients call me back going, I haven't got a call back. I'm like, literally, did you call them on a Saturday? No. And sometimes I'll say, okay, you got a weekend off. All right. If you're in commercial, that might be a little more acceptable, but I'm like, no, not working with me. So definitely want to have somebody working, know you can depend on them.
It's because you and I care about our customers, and we want our customers to have a good experience with us. We don't want to have people going, I can't ever reach you. Now, that doesn't mean I'm available 7 days a week. I can't answer a phone. My phone's rang 5 times while we're on the air here. It's ringing right now, but I can't answer the call, but it takes you and sends you over to my team. My team will answer your questions. And if it's something that you needed to talk to the loan arranger, you're going to get a phone call. I think it's funny when my clients call back and they're like, Bruce, I can't believe it's actually you calling me. Well, of course it's me calling you. You're my client. I know what's going on with your transaction.
I get the same thing. All the other marketing you hear on the radio, you're going to get a minion coming out to see you if you want to try and get that guaranteed buyout. Another story on that. But I want to talk for this last part of the show here, Bruce. I want to talk about rates and what you think's going on and who needs to be refining right now? Like, what's their mortgage payment need to be? I know it's kind of personal, but get it in general. What
So
do
I
you
think
think?
it's really important to talk about this because interest rates have dropped. We just had another Fed cut. We're going to have another one on December 10th. And we're pretty sure we got a 94.5% chance that we're going to get another quarter point. The quarter points aren't moving the needle. Don't look at that as going to plummet interest rates, because a quarter point drop in the Fed rate does not mean a quarter point drop in an interest rate on a
Exactly.
mortgage.
Yes.
It's not even remotely close. It might move the needle a tiny bit, but it's not going to move it a lot.
Mhm.
Now, what we've seen in the past is interest rates tend to go up after a Fed cut for a period of time, and then they start to settle
back
down.
Yep.
So your best opportunity is generally just before the Fed cut, about 2 weeks prior to a week prior to the Fed cut. So we saw it. It happened the last 3 times. I believe that your sweet spot is going to be early December to lock in an interest rate. I think that's going to be a really good spot for you. I think that if we get interest rates too much lower, then buyers are not going to have as much control. But if you're looking to refinance, I don't want you to get caught up with lenders that are trying to refinance you if it's not the right thing. I promise you, I will never refinance a client if it's not truly in their best interest, but most mortgage companies will. I get calls from you guys all the time going, well, this other lender promised they could do this and promised they could do that, and they just can't meet the promise. You have to have a break-even point when it comes to refinancing that should be less than 36 months. Optimal, you should be 12 to 24 month break-even time. That means, how much did I save you in payment versus how much did it cost you to have to add to your mortgage? So if you had to add $10,000 to your mortgage to refinance and you're getting $200 a month,
That's too long, right?
it may be too long.
Yeah.
Well, so you want that $10,000. So, and all you got to do is go, how much did it cost me? Now, don't take your taxes and insurance into consideration. Only take the actual cost of what the mortgage cost you.
Yep.
But $10,000 divided by 200 is 50. That's too long. I want it to be 36 or less.
Yeah.
So then you say, well, if it would cost me 10 grand and I'm saving 300 a month, well, that's 33. Now we're talking. So maybe today the break even is at 50. So we don't lock in, but we get your loan fully ready to go. Everything's done.
Yep.
Even an appraisal, because an appraisal is important, because what if you waited for rates to drop and then the appraisal doesn't come in for value?
Yeah.
And I had that happen to me. So we don't want to wait too long to do those things. Get your application in. Let's determine that best possible strike rate for you.
Isn't there also a VA Streamline? VA is a little different.
There's VA and FHA Streamline. So VA Streamline's unbelievable. So you shouldn't have to come up with any money, but some veterans want to not add any more than they have to on to their current mortgage.
Yeah.
So what I do, like for instance, right now, anybody that I've got locked in right now, I'm scheduling to close in December, not November. Do you know why?
No mortgage payment before Christmas.
Well, that's the second reason. The primary reason is, when are your taxes due? They're due in November. So if I close you in November, I have to collect 12 months worth of taxes, but your escrow is going to pay it out. So I just over collected, but I have to because they're due. So I push your closing to December or January. The taxes are paid. I don't have to add as much.
I want to mention one thing on that with taxes. This is the time of year, December, January, you're going to get a letter from your mortgage company on your escrow payments.
Yes.
Call me. I have some people calling me freaking out. Oh my God, my payment went up $60. Or $150, whatever it might be. I can help you interpret that, and this is what you want to watch, especially on the new homes. Most of the builders,
new home
now
construction, you're always going to get.
You got to watch, because it goes from the land to the whole house.
That's
right. You got to watch time of year and all these things come into play. You need to understand your escrow account.
Well, not only that, with new construction, what's going to happen is, you're right. So the taxes were based on land. They weren't based on what's called an improved property.
Yep.
So let's say your lender was collecting $250 a month, but the taxes are going to be $500 a month. That's a $250 a month increase. Now, if you went all year and you were short $250 a month, that lender has to collect the $250 a month for 12 months plus the new $250 a month. Now your payment's going up $500 a month, and you're going to freak out.
And you got to understand what that's about. So if you need help with that, you can always call me at 407-352-8118 or Bruce.
Yeah, or 407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com. Now, if you're in that situation, it may be worth refinancing and get everything caught up, because you're going to need to refinance anyway. Let's try to eliminate PMI. Let's reduce your payment. Let's reduce your term. Like, I'm taking a lot of folks right now to 15-year mortgages. You know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars you're going to save on a 15-year mortgage if you can swing the payment? Now, you got to realize you don't want to push it too much, because you don't want to be house poor and have that payment. But I have a 15-year mortgage. I got 2 years left on my 15-year mortgage. 2 years left, and my house is paid for, free and clear. I am super stoked about that. So why don't you allow me to help you set that up? Call the Loan Arranger at 407-250-9144 or go to WeBringYouHome.com. I promise you from the bottom of my heart that you will always get accurate and direct information. You're not going to get a sales pitch. And by the way, my loan officers on my team, they are not commission driven. So they're not trying to upsell you like all these other mortgage companies. I don't pay commissions. I want my loan officers to set my clients up with the programs that are best for them, not the ones that pay me a higher commission. So I don't pay them a commission. They're flat salary. That's how it works. So they don't know which loan might make more money or less money. They don't care. They're looking at what can save the client the most amount of money. 407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com. My name is Bruce Woodburn, and I am the Loan Arranger. Interest rates are dropping. They're not plummeting. They're dropping.
Getting this, Bruce. This is another thing we haven't talked about in a bit. I give people a free 50-point staging checklist on what to do to the house. Most of it doesn't cost much,
if anything.
And most of what I see, people always ask me, what's the best things to do? And what I'll stop them from doing is all new flooring and all new kitchen and things like that, unless things are just falling apart. I want to look for spending $1,000 to get $5,000 back. So fresh paint, yard dress up. It's funny. I got my yard guy. He's got the Cleve special. I say, hey, this house is getting listed. Go talk to the owner. He goes, and it's $500 to $1,500 to $2,000, depending on how big the yard is and how much work is needed. But just dressing it up. So when the customer pulls up and goes, oh, that's nice, they're not overwhelmed. Now, they might be overwhelmed a year from now, but we don't really care if they moved into the house. So but we want to make it look as good as possible. No repair work to be done. The front door, fresh paint, looking good. No wasp nest hanging around. Curb appeal. Inside, the flooring, the paint, the colors.
Think about that. What if a house was really spectacular inside, but you drive up to it and it looks like there's weeds all over the yard. The bushes are over. The driveway hadn't been pressure washed in years. There's paint peeling off the wall. You might not even want to look at that.
And some of the biggest things I've seen, Bruce, lakefront. I've seen lakefronts where you might need a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 lakefront cleanup, but you want to be able to see that view.
Sure.
I had one guy, you couldn't even tell the house was lakefront because he'd letting the scrub grow up 15 feet high. And the neighbors had hedges, so you couldn't even see their waterfront. You didn't know the house was waterfront. I had another guy with a half-acre lot. He'd put a privacy shrub around the pool cage, like right around it. So you walked out back, it was 12 feet tall. You looked like you had no yard. So all I did on that one was I had him cut it down to waist high. The house sold in a week once I got the listing. The other realtor didn't tell him that. So all these things, views, outdoor spaces. Do you have an outdoor picnic area, fire pit, gazebo, things like that? Get the lakefront cleaned up, big windows and glass doors, when you're replacing parts of your house, if you're modifying a house. These kinds of things are what helps. The outdoor kitchen, stuff like that, as you're living in your home. So you want to talk to me about real estate. You want to make a real estate plan. Thank you for listening today. Call me at 407-352-8118 or go to cleveloveland.com. Bruce.
Yeah. So if you're looking to buy a home, maybe you're a move up buyer, you'd like to keep the house you have because you got a low interest rate on it. Now is a great time for you to do that. Interest rates have dropped. It's a really good time to start looking at jumping in the market. And if you wait too long, sellers are not going to be motivated to pay any closing costs or make repairs. So don't wait too long, folks. The time is really it's ripe right now. I'm buying properties. Cleve's buying properties. If you see the pros in the market buying properties, you should probably follow suit. Now, for those of you that want to refinance, sometimes it's not the right time for you to refinance. So don't you want a lender that's going to go, you know what, Bob, I think we should wait for just a couple of more months and see if we get a little bit better. Or you may be in a situation where now is a perfect time to refinance. and you don't want to roll the dice, because if you are rolling the dice, things could get worse instead of get better. My name's Bruce Woodburn. You can reach me anytime, 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com, or Cleve Loveland at 407-352-8118. You have a great weekend, and thanks for listening to the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Show. Have a great weekend.